The United States Food, Farm, and Jobs Bill was signed into law February 7th, 2012. Now think back, 2014. Now think back to September 30th, 2012, when the United States Farm Bill had expired. Without any legislation to replace it in the near future, America's farming and ranching families were left with little security for so many of the assets that they'd worked so hard to obtain in the past. And even some of the most dedicated, hard-working men and women in this nation had little hope in seeing a new Food, Farm, and Jobs Bill to get this nation back on track. And until that day came, the United States agricultural industry would remain with an extended farm bill, and agriculturalists alike would be left without any immediate federal funding to operate and maintain so many portions of the industry that feed this very world. In June of early 2013, however, the United States Senate pleased the Secretary of Agriculture, Tom Vilsack, when they acted in bipartisan support to sign and pass a new Food, Farm, and Jobs Bill. However, those feelings of progress and success soon came to a screeching halt when the United States House of Representatives failed to come to a consensus on funding certain issues like family food assistance programs and investing in the economic growth of rural America. Yet again, the United States agricultural industry is left without a budgeted farm bill, and agriculturalists were left to solely rely on emergency relief funds that will eventually be exhausted. I believe in less need for charity and more of it when it is needed. And I can say that after October 30th, 2012, when Hurricane Sandy smashed into the East Coast with fury and an appetite for destruction, charity was needed oh so tremendously. Happening only 1 month after the expiration of the Farm Bill, agriculturalists and farmers along the East Coast had to wait 6 long months before any federal appropriations were made to compensate for agricultural losses. That's 184 days, 26 weeks, 6 months, half of 1 full year to wait for federal relief due to a natural disaster. And why? Because the United States federal government cannot act in bipartisan agreement to sign and pass simple legislation that would fund and budget the most necessary and the most essential industry in this world. On a more local level, here in Colorado with the recent floods, the Farm Service Agency and the United States Department of Agriculture managed to compose an ECP, or an Emergency Conservation Program. This program serves primarily to request funding from the federal government to pay for damages and losses due to natural disasters like the flood. However, this application process is something that's quite lengthy, and it's fairly difficult to pass safety inspection by a federal official. On the flip side of the issue, you have FSA and USDA employees who are only given a mere 30 days to distribute these applications and to inspect hundreds of properties in their regional area. And being an area that operates primarily off of the family farm along the Front Range, many of these properties and facilities date back multiple generations into the family, making them less likely to be up to current code or to pass current safety inspection, leaving America's agriculturalists yet again without the ability to receive any type of indemnity from the federal government. Now, though these ECPs and emergency relief funds do exist, it all means very little when your federal government shuts down for 17 days in October, leaving all agriculturalists and farmers unable to access any type of emergency relief or federal aid. With FSA and USDA offices closed, farmers and ranchers in the Dakotas and much of the Midwest can only sit and wait. And some of them sit and stare at their vast pastures. But these are empty pastures that are full of perished livestock. Tens of thousands of livestock lay waste after the Atlas blizzard wreaked havoc across the Dakotas, only to be left lying across the terrain until the federal government reopens and compose yet again another temporary relief program. But I will tell you, agriculturalists are tired. They have been tired of temporary relief, they are tired of unorganization, and they are tired of the lack of leadership. I can say agriculturalists are hungry. They are hungry for organization, and they are hungry for a stable, structured farm bill from Capitol Hill. I believe that agricultural life is pleasant as well as challenging. And I believe that if there is one community in this world that will persevere to save the family farm and the corporate ag industry, it is agriculturalists. We are a community that in hours of disparity will come together to assist those who lost everything to the 100-year flood in Colorado and assist those who were completely wiped out by the Atlas blizzard in the Dakotas. It is not that our industry is weak itself. It is those who we have chosen to work for us that fail to practice any kind of leadership, cooperation, and enough organization to not only supply farmers and ranchers with a new food, farm, and jobs bill, but the rest of the nation that will require it just as tremendously. For too long, the United States federal government delayed in passing and signing the Food, Farm, and Jobs Bill. And it is up to us, as agriculturalists, and as a community, to be certain that history will never repeat itself. Thank you.